My name was Haley Morgan. Today was the day I walked out of prison. 4 years served. No family waited outside for me.
Haley Morgan, you're free now. Keep your nose clean out there.
I looked up and saw a luxury car waiting outside the prison gate. My own parents didn't come. How pathetic. And the person who came to pick me up was Emily, the friend I trusted most. She walked towards me in heels, still as sharp and dazzling as ever.
Haley, I came to pick you up.
What are you doing here?
You got out today. No way I was missing this. Food first, or do you want to go straight back to
The Morgans. 4 years ago, they sent me to prison with their own hands. The Morgan residence stopped being my home a long time ago. Neither.
Then where do you want to go?
I need to get married first.
What?
Prison taught me one thing. If you want to survive, you have to be more ruthless than everyone else. And right now, I needed a man powerful enough to take me back and help me collect every debt.
Take me to Link Golf Club. You just got out and you're already looking for trouble?
Not trouble. I'm going to take what belongs to me. Today, I was going to meet the most dangerous man in Flannery and my future husband.
I had just gotten out of prison, and I walked straight into Flannery's most elite golf club. Today, the entire place had been cleared for one man.
Hayden Evans, the current head of the Evans family. Cold, dangerous, untouchable.
Grandpa, stop bringing up that engagement. Push me again and I'll wipe out the Morgans.
The call ended.
The next second, I saw him raise his golf club, and his tee was not a golf tee.
It was a living man.
Don't move. Ruin my shot, and you know the consequences.
Ball flew, hole in one. Brutal. I liked it. Suddenly, a bodyguard reached to block me.
Stop! You're not allowed in here!
He reached to block me. I kicked him away.
I walked towards Caden. Is this how you treat your future fiancé?
Fiance? I've never met a woman bold enough to speak to me like that.
Hayden's expression shifted from surprise as he studied the audacious woman before him.
You'll be the last.
He turned to leave. I walked straight toward him. Caden Evans, remember me? I'm your future fiancé. Caden had no intention of entertaining me, but I knew exactly how to make him stop.
Your grandfather has been pressuring you to get married, hasn't he?
You have 60 seconds.
Then I'll make it quick. We enter a contract marriage. You keep your grandfather off your back, and I borrow your power.
What makes you think I'd give you that opportunity?
Good.
I slightly verted my gaze, my eyes full of calculation. I glanced at the project file on the ground. This, Utopia. You need someone to take it over.
You want Utopia?
Let's make a bet. If I make a hole-in-one, the project is mine.
You really are bold.
Do you dare take the bet?
He stared at me for 2 seconds, then smiled.
Fine.
I picked up the club. This shot wasn't just about winning a project. I was telling him I was worth it. The ball flew beautifully, like a blade cutting through the sky.
It went in!
I handed him the file. Your turn. Caden opened the file, and his expression changed instantly.
Get the car.
Where to, sir?
The Morgan house. To talk about the engagement.
Caden turned around and strode away, with his assistant hurrying to follow closely behind. The game had finally begun when I returned to the Morgan house. They were preparing an engagement banquet for Emmeline. How festive. My biological parents were personally placing their adopted daughter where I should have been.
Emma, you must look perfect today.
Once the Evans family agrees, the Morgan family is secure.
I'll do my best, Mom.
Sir, Miss Haley Morgan is back.
Why did she have to come back today of all days?
Give her some money and send her away.
I stood at the doorway and heard every word.
Dad, Mom, you really don't look happy to see me.
Haley, don't misunderstand.
I've missed you all this time.
She reached for my hand with that fake sweet expression. I raised my hand and slapped her hard. That slap is what you owed me from 4 years ago.
Haley, have you lost your mind?
You dare hit Emma?
Why wouldn't I? I am the biological daughter of the Morgan family. She is just an adopted daughter, living in my place. Emmeline clutched her face and tears spilled instantly. She looked convincingly heartbroken. Too bad for her. I wouldn't play along this time.
That slap finally reminded them of 4 years ago.
Haley, don't push this too far.
Emma has been think of you all these years. and you hit her the minute you come back?
Thinking of me? You mean the kind of thinking of me that sent me to prison?
Haley, I know you hate me, but back then it really was
An accident?
I stared at Harold.
Dad, should I repeat the truth about that car crash in front of Regav, everyone?
Harold's face went pale instantly.
Shut your mouth!
Enough!
He immediately took out his phone.
100 million. I'll transfer it to you right now. Take the money and keep your mouth shut.
My phone pinged with the transfer notification. 100 million. Received.
That's very generous.
You got your money, now get out.
Who said I was leaving?
Everyone in the room froze.
That 100 million was only your hush money. It wasn't enough to buy me out.
I was back, and I was not leaving again.
Harold threw 100 million at me and still couldn't get rid of me, so my dear mother finally dropped the act.
Guards!
A group of bodyguards closed in immediately.
Haley, I don't care what kind of monster you've become out there. This is not a place for you to go wild.
Hold her down!
I stayed where I am and rolled my wrist once. They probably still thought I was the same Haley from 4 years ago.
You want to know what I learned in prison?
Move!
The first one charged at me. I grabbed his wrist and twisted until it broke. The second one swinged. I drove my knee straight into his ribs. The third one barely got close before I kicked him flat. 3 seconds. Every guard was down.
How is that possible? Haley, you lunatic!
I shook out my hand. My breathing wasn't even uneven. Prison didn't destroy me. It only forged me into someone none of you can afford to provoke. Just then, footsteps sounded from the front entrance. The real show had begun. Guards lay scattered across the floor. Right when the Morgan family was in complete chaos.
Caden Evans has arrived!
Mr. Evans has arrived. The whole room fell silent instantly.
Aiden! She still thought he came for her. Her eyes lighted up at once.
Mr. Evans, welcome!
Emma, go to him.
Caden,
Be quiet.
She froze.
I didn't come here for you.
I came to honor the marriage agreement.
Of course. Already, I wasn't talking about her.
He looked at me.
The woman I'm going to marry is Haley.
The air itself seemed to freeze.
That's impossible!
Mr. Evans, are you mistaken?
I advise you choose Emmeline. Don't choose Haley. She's a burden. She just got out of prison.
So what? She's the one I chose.
Emmeline's face turned ghostly pale. I looked at her and finally felt a little better. She finally tasted what it felt like to fall from grace. After Caden publicly took my side, we went into the garden. It was just the two of us, but the air between us was even more dangerous than it had been inside.
Where exactly did that file you gave me come from?
That's not the question you should be asking.
Then what should I ask?
Ask about your mother.
His gaze turned instantly cold.
That car crash wasn't an accident.
Keep talking.
The driver was named Dahlia. She's dead.
Dead?
Yes. But the one who truly wanted your mother dead is still alive.
He grabbed me by the throat.
Haley, you'd better not be playing with me.
I didn't flinch. I didn't fear him.
Caden, if you want the truth, you have no choice but to work with me.
His fingers tightened for a second, then slowly released. I knew I made the right bet. I'd already dragged this man into my game.
After the garden talk, I walked back into the Morgan house. Since I was back, some things should finally return to their rightful owner. Leland.
Yes, Miss Morgan?
Take people to Emmeline's room. Throw every single thing she owns out into the hall. Did I stutter?
The servants all froze where they stood. They were scared. Too bad for them. They feared me more now. I am the true daughter of the Morgan family. Everything here that doesn't belong to her stays no longer. Soon, the hallway was piled high with Emmeline's luxury belongings. Dresses, heels, jewelry, bags. All bought with the life she stole from me.
Haley, have you gone mad?
That room was always mine. I looked down and spot the jewelry case she treasured most. The next second, I crushed it under my heel.
No!
Beautiful sound. I'd been waiting 4 years to hear that sound.
Emmeline's belongings covered the hallway. She was crying like her world is ending. And Harold had finally lost his temper.
Bring me the whip!
A wooden box was brought forward. Inside lay a long whip studded with barbs.
Haley, you will be punished today.
We'll see whether you still dare be unRiley.
He raised his arm, about to bring it down. I stepped forward and snatched the whip right out of his hand.
I swung back and lashed his shoulder hard. Blood seeped through instantly. Everyone was stunned to silence.
First lash, for treating a wretch like your daughter.
Second lash. For betraying your own flesh and blood.
Lunatic! You insane monster! Dad!
I stood in the middle of the wreckage, whip in hand. In that moment, they finally understood. I didn't come back to apologize. I came back to collect. But just then, an old commanding voice came from outside.
Don't you dare touch her.
The true headmaster of the Morgan family has arrived. After those 2 lashes, the entire Morgan house descended into chaos. Harold was bleeding, and Carol and Emmeline were in full panic. But in the next second, every voice in the room was crushed by the man at the door.
Dad.
Clinton, good timing. Haley, she...
Be quiet.
The moment Grandpa's cane struck the floor, even the air turned heavy.
Grandpa.
She tried to act pitiful again. Too bad Grandpa didn't even look at her this time.
I have only one granddaughter, and that is Haley.
Dad, you can't be this biased.
Biased? Where was your talk about bias when you sent your biological daughter to prison?
That sentence stabbed Harold right through the chest. From that moment on, I was no longer standing alone.
Haley, come here.
After Grandpa showed up, someone in this house finally remembered that I am the real Morgan. I walked to his side. He took out a black card and handed it to me.
There's 100 million on this. Spend it however you want.
Thank you, Grandpa.
Dad! She already took 100 million just now! You can't keep indulging her!
Are you questioning my decision?
Clinton, Haley just came back. Giving her that much money is inappropriate.
Inappropriate for her? But appropriate to give everything in this family to an adopted daughter?
Grandpa, I never wanted to fight Haley for anything.
Really? Then all these years, while you took my room, my place in the family, my parents, did you not feel guilty at all? She couldn't say a word. Another 100 million black card. Secured. Now it was time for me to go out and spend a little. That night, I went to Starlight Club. I needed to celebrate, and I needed Flannery to remember me again.
Haley! First drink to celebrate your release to freedom.
I heard you went back to the Morgan house and caused absolute chaos? Not bad. Whipped my father Weiss and took the adopted daughter's room. Well done. The second she said that, a filthy hand slid onto her waist.
Pretty girl. Drinking alone is boring.
Get lost. She shoved him away, but instead of backing off, the man smiled at me too.
Oh, there's another one too. I'll take both of you tonight.
I set down my glass and stood up slowly. 3 seconds, more than enough for me to teach him what regret felt like.
That idiot still had no idea who he had just provoked.
What? You want to fight?
Not want. I already started. I drove my foot straight into his knee. He had just knelt down when I kicked him hard in the stomach. He had just gotten up and hadn't even touched me when I grabbed him by the neck and pissed him against the table.
The music never stopped. But the dance floor had already frozen. 3 seconds. A tough guy, beaten and captured on camera.
I stood in the wreckage without even breathing harder. Anyone else? Everyone was staring at me, like they were looking at a monster. Good. I didn't come back to be anyone's obedient daughter.
Call the boss! Get the boss here now!
The crowd's gaze simultaneously turned away from me. Before long, people started looking down from the upper VIP floor. The people truly qualified to speak tonight were finally about to step in.
The nightclub had gone terrifyingly quiet. Everyone was waiting for the mob boss, Thaddeus, to arrive.
Who's making trouble in my territory?
He walked in with his men, his eyes sharp enough to devour people.
Boss! It was her.
A woman.
All of you couldn't handle one woman?
He looked at me and smiled coldly.
You're good. Too bad this is my ground.
So?
He maintained a threatening stare.
So tonight, you'll crawl out on your knees.
I looked at him and suddenly smiled. Then I looked upstairs. Caden was standing there. He didn't move, but he didn't leave either. Good. Then let him see exactly how crazy his fiancée really is. I grabbed Caden's tie the moment he reached the lower floor.
Haley.
The next second, I kissed him. Everyone gasped. People began whispering and pointing. The moment I kissed Caden, the entire room looked like it had been struck by lightning, because everyone in Flannery knows Caden Evans hates women getting close to him. Haley, you are insane! In front of everyone?
You dare use Mr. Evans at me?
He didn't push me away. He didn't explode either.
Thaddeus.
But his eyes were dangerously dark.
You just said, what were you going to do to my fiancé?
A misunderstanding. It's all a misunderstanding.
Caden pressed a cigar against Thaddeus's forehead.
That's your warning. Touch her again, and you die.
Thaddeus dropped to his knees on the spot. I looked at Kane and suddenly thought, this contract marriage was becoming more valuable by the second. The Morgan family held a recognition banquet for me. Officially, it was meant to restore my place. In reality, plenty of people were waiting to laugh at me.
I heard she just got out of prison.
Someone like that belongs in a place like this?
I walked in on heels and didn't even give them a look. What mattered to me wasn't their gossip.
What mattered was who would be the first idiot to volunteer for trouble. Haley, tonight is your big night. I'm truly happy for you.
She sounded so sincere. If I didn't know how malicious she really was, I might have believed her.
Miss Haley Morgan, we brought you a gift.
Several people carried in a large chest. They opened it, and inside was a stack of gold bars. I stood alone not far from the box.
Prison life must have been rough. Consider these gold bars a little comfort for you.
Gold bars. This wasn't a gift. They were public humiliating me for having been in prison. Good. The first volunteer had arrived. The entire room was watching me. They wanted to see me humiliated. Maybe even watch me lose control. Too bad for them. I never disappoint.
Miss Morgan, why so quiet? Don't you like the gift?
I walked up to him. Then I slapped him twice. Hard.
You
First slap, to teach you to shut your mouth.
You dare hit me?
Second slap, to teach you your place. I don't just dare hit you. I also dare ask you, who the hell are you to judge me?
Nearly knocked his face sideways.
People in the crowd had already started backing away.
Because they were finally realizing.
Tonight's Haley wasn't here to entertain them.
His legs gave out, and his pants went wet on the spot. The hall fell dead silent. The guests wore varied expressions, and we were only getting started.